But I want to jump back to something you said a minute ago that I thought was interesting about Adam. I feel like there's this weird thing, especially in America, that it's almost like, I feel like a lot of people walk around with this attitude of like, they really want to catch a body. They want to catch a legal body. And they have this attitude of like, I wish a N-word would type thing. And I feel like there's something really dark about that. Because I've often debated, like, should I get a gun? Like, if I was in America full time, would I want to have a gun? And I don't think I would. I don't think I'd want to have a gun. Maybe armed security if the situation called for it. But I think there's a lot of people that walk around in, let's say, different states that are licensed and they carry guns, and they're waiting for somebody to test them. They're waiting for an opportunity to stand their ground and catch a body. And I don't know if it's this hip-hop drill influence that's influenced a lot of people, or an American thing of like, I should stand my ground, no one should test me, and I've got an equalizer with me, and it doesn't matter how big you are, I should be able to stand my ground. But I feel like it's a messed up thing, and sometimes I get the impression from Adam that he really wishes that guy would have been killed, that pulled a gun on him, and I think that's messed up. But if that's how he feels, that's how he feels.
I don't think it's messed up. You pull a gun on me, you deserve to die. That's it. I pull a gun on somebody, I can't figure out what's going to happen next. That's why, like, for example, when I interviewed Joe Tacopina, and he's the whole thing with Rocky having a starter pistol, I'm like, that's crazy. I would never have a starter pistol. Never, ever, ever.
Either you have a pistol or you don't. Sure.
Yeah. If I pull out a pistol, the only reason I'd pull it out is to try to kill somebody. But I've dealt with, a lot of times people feel that way when they haven't actually gone through shit. Like, I had a home invasion situation happen where I thought I'd kill the guy and so forth. So it's like, once you go through it,
can I ask you, were you relieved when you found out the person was alive? Or were you disappointed?
I kind of just didn't give a shit.
Really?
At that time. Yeah. It was like when they walked him out and his whole face was just bleeding. I just thought, like, well, I mean, the adrenaline is going, right? So you kind of just don't give a shit at that point. You really don't give a shit because you're like, okay, this guy was trying to kill me. So I have no type of remorse or no type of empathy towards what he's going through right now. Now, as I started to calm down, I am starting to realize that had he died, there would now be a murder investigation. And, I could be painted as someone that maybe wasn't acting in self-defense.
Or went beyond.
Maybe I just went too far. Now, the cops were like, hey, self-defense, have a nice day. I don't even think they asked me for an ID that night. You know what I'm saying? Because it was kind of clear that this guy jumped in through the window. The girl confirmed the story. The overall damage kind of was all in line and so forth. And I don't think he even was trying to fight it at one point. Basically, me and him had a conversation. I told him I'm not going to take the stand against him.
Well, the guy that you shot?
I didn't shoot him.
Okay. The guy that was shot? The guy that was hurt?
He wasn't shot.
The guy that was hurt?
He was hurt.
You had a conversation with them?
Yes, I did.
Wow.
Yeah.
That must have been surreal.
It was surreal. it was. He apologized.
Wow.
Yeah. He apologized. Well, because he knew he was in the wrong.
I mean, I think the
thing...
thing...
I'll say you jump into someone's house and attack the person because they're sleeping with your ex-girlfriend, like...
Well, he's blessed he's still alive.
He's blessed he's still alive, yeah. I really wonder if he watches these interviews with me and it's like, I don't know how he feels. People actually, say that I should bring him in and do an interview with him.
I'd watch that. That's crazy.
That would be kind of nuts. I'd have a lot of security there.
Oh, man,
you know
yeah,
what I'm saying? Ain't no one go full shit.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is a lot of times when people like, oh, I wish I would, haven't gone through that. Like these are really ugly situations where everyone loses to a certain degree, right? And once you pull out a gun or do that, you don't know what's about to happen. Everything is off the table. You know what I'm saying? And I remember when I had the conversation with the guy, without going into specifics, he asked why I did certain things that night. And I said, you jumped in through the window and attacked me. There are no rules after that. So if you want me to suddenly feel bad about what I did when what you did set it all off, you're smoking crack. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're really tripping. He goes, no, you're right. That's a good point. You know what I'm saying? He goes, you're right. Once you start something, you don't know where it's going to go. I don't feel bad over what happened to King Von because he was the aggressor. Do I feel bad for his kids? Yes. Do I feel bad for his sister and his mom and his dad and so forth? Absolutely. I know he has a lot of fans, and I'm sure there's a certain level of empathy. Asian Doll has created her whole career over King Von, her dating him for however long. I get it, but you have to look at the implications of your actions. And I don't know whether he was drunk or whether he was just...
He was on ecstasy, actually.
Okay, there you go. So he was high. So he was high. He's not making smart decisions. You're high. And you're King Von, and you got jewelry on, and you're the hottest gangster rapper, and you feel you got a bunch of guys with you. Oh yeah, we're gonna treat him like a little boy or something like that. That he says something like that, and yeah, we're gonna walk out, and I'm gonna make a video about it, and it's gonna be used for my album rollout, and blah 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 blah. It didn't work out that way. You underestimate people. I don't underestimate anybody. Anybody. I mean, I always carry some sort of weapon with me, but I never pull it out. Because I know I'm not just going to flash it around or whatever else. I realize, like when you see like the whole China Mac, that whole prank thing situation where he's like, there's guns in the background. You see my hands in my pockets. I had pepper spray in my pocket. Am I going to pull it out and start spraying people randomly? No. It's only the point where I felt there was some danger that came right in my vicinity. I would have to do it, but I'm on live. Like, I'm Vlad. I understand this is not just something I can just do and walk away from.
I'd rather have a pepper spray than a gun. I don't think I could live with a body on my conscience, even if it's justified, because it's like you don't know what comes after that. I just feel like it's like...
For about 2 hours, I sat there outside with a body, what I thought was a body on my conscience, and I had no problems with it whatsoever.
I feel
None.
like
Zero.
I'm quite an anxious person.
Nothing.
I feel like time will go by.
In fact, my first thought was good riddance.
Wow.
Literally, that's what popped in my head. I said, good riddance.
You're a gangster, Vlad.
I'm not a gangster, but at all. But if someone's trying to take your life,
you got to do.
And
what you
I really
do.
felt that way. I really felt like he said he's like, "Are you ready to die?" Like he literally said that to me, like 2 inches from my face. So I'm like, okay, I'm not ready to die. Well, how am I gonna get out of this? I'm gonna have to kill, right? So, and that was a very turning point in my life because at that point it was like, I'm not scared of anyone out here. Not to say I'm physically could take on everyone. Absolutely not. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to get into any fistfights with people. But I'm not going to cower from people. I'm not going to let people intimidate me. And that's the whole thing, like, with me and Wack. It was like, he talked a bunch of crazy shit over the phone, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to, bulk up and prepare for some bullshit. But I'm not going to sit there and apologize. I'm not going to sit there, and cower and start answering to him, and it's like, let him extort me, like you like to say, you know what I mean? Like, none of that's going to happen. I'm just going to toughen up and we're going to prepare for the bullshit. And I think that night changed me into that person and allowed me to function in this space where I'm just not really worried about people threatening and acting tough or whatever else. Like, if it comes down to it, it comes down to it. May the best man win. Who's going to get to their gun first? Like, who's going to have better security? Who's going to whatever? But I'm not going to sit here and just let people dictate out of fear. And that's been my thing.
It's interesting. I think it's a very American way of thinking because in the UK, obviously, we don't have gun laws. We barely have self-defense laws. And so it's almost like it's a very alien thing to me, the idea that even just like I could take that into my own hands. If I was really threatened to the point where I had to end someone's life to protect mine, like that's something that people respect and is good over here. Whereas for me, it's almost just like, and I think this is why some people don't like the way that I talk about certain people that are convicted or, the Dirk situation, because I feel like I deep down have this thing where I just feel like killing is really wrong. I know there's reasons that justify killing self-defense in war, but it's almost just like that's such an extreme taboo to me. Whereas I feel like in America, it just feels like life is kind of worth slightly less and killing is a bit more normalized. And it's kind of like, it's a little bit alien to me. I'm coming to terms with it.
You might be right.